Yeah, it sounds like kind of like I'm underwater. Do you think that's my? Oh wait, no, it's good. It's good now.
No, we're on live now. We're on live. Hello, everybody. It's the Weird and Whatever podcast. How the heck is everyone doing?
Really good.
Good. Dennys are having a little technical difficulty, right? Real quick. I just want the sound effects to be able to start as an iPad 2 or iPad 1.
iPad 2.
Beautiful. How's everyone doing, Ryan?
Everyone's...
Mr. Beckett?
I'm good.
Yes, how was your weekend?
Good, I cut some of the hair off.
I see
It's
that.
my summer do.
Well, look at that. What do you think, Vicki? You like it?
It looks good no matter what. It's fine.
A little bit more aerodynamic.
We've got the lovely Vicki. By the way, Vicki gets our Spirit Award. You get our Spirit Award, and I'll tell you why. Right. Because you've been all up on my Facebook. You got to see all the stuff she's sharing. She's got haunted stuff, ghost stuff, Bigfoot stuff. Somebody came to play. Someone's glad to be a major player on the Weird and Whatever podcast.
Yes, I am. I'm very glad to be here.
That's awesome. Yeah, please continue to do that. There was a lot of great stuff you're posting. I love it. And if I don't respond, please don't be offended. It's not that I'm not seeing it. I just didn't respond to it. And, of course, the very handsome Dennys.
How's it going?
It's going good, man. How you doing? We don't ever get to talk about how you're doing emotionally.
Just emotionally in general? I'm all right. I'm pretty even keel.
Yeah.
I pretty much, unless something's like extreme, I pretty much won't
I think
drift.
Dennys is like me. He's pretty, unless it's something really bad, he's
even then, he's like, oh, man, it's really bad.
First thing first, like, when I was younger, I used to worry about so much stuff. I'd constantly worry. Like, if I said something in class, I'd be like, it would rattle me. I wouldn't even be able to sleep. And the feeling is just so awful that I decided one day I just don't ever want to do that again. So if I know a secret or if I have to confront somebody about something, I usually just try to get it over with because I hate doing it so much that it's done. And then I don't have to spend days worrying about it. So I learned that worrying is pointless to me.
Don't sweat the small stuff. I believe the guy's name is Dale Carnegie.
Yeah.
Maybe is that his name?
Earnhardt.
Not Earnhardt, but he wrote a book called "Don't Sweat the Small Stuff" because it's all small stuff. But it's actually a pretty fascinating book.
Yeah.
What you're saying, and don't sweat all the small bullshit.
Yeah, it ruins your short term for sure, but like in long term, it's just I don't even think it's worth it, even the worry of it.
It's not worth it. So one of the things I want to talk about today is I think we need to take this podcast. We need to go out in the field. I know Beckett's been very excited about going out in the field. We need to do a ghost adventure. Now, you say that your house is old?
It was built in 1925.
Vicki, I kind of feel like anything that was built 1930s or earlier, it's automatically haunted. What are your thoughts?
I don't know if we want to say automatically haunted, but there's a good chance there's somebody lingering
It's
around.
really close to Trump's place, too.
To Trump's place?
It's right over the bridge.
Okay. All right. We can't go over to Trump's place. I don't think they're going to let me in. In fact, I'm not allowed in there. Since 2008, me and Kevin went there for his wedding, and we were there just to mess with the paparazzi. And the paparazzi for Donald Trump's wedding, they were there. They were camped out at like 10 a.m.
Yeah.
We got there at 7 p.m. We're cutting in lines. They were so pissed off, the paparazzi. They were saying, get in line. We've been waiting here since 10 a.m. But yeah, you're that close, huh?
It's weird because like I became a little bit of a news junkie. Like I go back and forth between CNN and Fox, just kind of see like two sides of the story. And all these people that, Anderson Cooper is like almost in my backyard sometimes, like doing that shot right over the bridge, like looking back on Mar-a-Lago.
Wow.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, I got a townhouse that overlooks a canal. Pretty sweet.
I live on a main road.
Yeah, I rent. So let's just get right into it with the local haunts. Now, Lake Worth Playhouse is a big one. I know you guys we've talked a little bit about that one.
Love that place. That place is so cool.
It's very cool. That was the place where we had a bunch of death psychics go there, and that dog, our producer at the time was named Mariana. We brought her dog there. And her dog was starting to shit blood everywhere. It was really freaky. She brings him to the emergency 24-hour, and they're like, your dog's fine. We have no idea what the hell is going on here. It's very bizarre. That place is cool. FAU, the Boca campus, supposedly has a spirit running up and down the hallways at nighttime, and I believe in the custodian area there is some rumors that there's something going on there.
See, like Boca Ghost, I would picture to be like very preppy. Like
Yes.
they have a sweater over their shoulders.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it's very, it's a rich ghost.
They haunt golf courses.
The other one, the Devil Tree. Have you guys heard of the Devil Tree?
I'm glad you brought that up because if you're really in for an adventure, now when you first go in, because I've been into Oak Hammock Park a few times.
Oh, we can go
Okay.
tit for tat with stories then.
Okay, now the first tree that you come to that everybody has identified as the Devil's Tree, I do not believe that is it.
Where is
Okay.
this?
I found the Devil Tree. No,
Where-
I was there.
Up in Port St. Lucie.
I'm not trying to at all cut you off, but I was there. I had an insider. I got to the Devil Tree. Please go on with your
Okay,
story.
well, it would be interesting if we both end up at the same location then.
Yeah, no.
But because the one that's marked is not.
I know this. Yes, I know this. Now the Devil Tree is up in. Is it Port St. Lucie or is it like
Port St. Lucie.
Okay. We did something back when we were over at Wild 95.5 where we talked about it on the radio, how me and our producer was going to go up there and stay the night, and the cops heard about it, and they were meeting us. They were there to meet us when we got there.
Wow.
So many listeners showed up that they were hanging out right at the front, so they had to have cops there to tell people, get the hell away. I ended up sneaking away from the cops, and I stayed overnight in that park. And I had to actually hitchhike my way back home to Palm Beach Gardens. And I can honestly tell you, I heard things like voices. Parts of the wooded area gets really, really cold. And Kevin and Virginia kind of made a joke about it. But I had to miss a day or two after I stayed the night there because we really thought I was possessed. Something happened. I got so sick to the point where when we took a picture of my eyes, they looked like I was possessed of something. Something went on in those woods. It's not an act. I get that people think because I'm on the radio and I talk about goofy shit that, oh, I'm just doing it for the radio. I swear to you guys on everything, there's something up with those woods and it ain't natural.
Was
I
it a
totally
sickness
agree.
like that you had before, or it was on? It was like
This was something I never had before. I felt severely depressed. I was sad. I was having just really dark thoughts. And this lasted for about 3 or 4 days. And even when we took my picture, it didn't look like me. It looked like some bullshit was manifesting. I swear to you, we can't find that picture anymore.
so I'm out of that field trip.
Well, it's
Well-
okay. Do you want to put your big boy pants on and do some real shit?
Let's do my house.
So the Devil Tree's eerie because it's not even that old of a case. I
Right,
think it
from the
dates
70s.
Yeah, it dates to
It
the
was the
70s.
70s, yeah.
And then gained
Man
popularity.
named Schaefer.
Schaefer.
Yes.
That's what his name was. He's a guy now. He posed as a cop. And I don't want to say anything disrespectful just in case there's some family members that still live local. But I don't believe he's with us anymore. I think he's dead.
Yeah, he was killed in prison.
In prison.
Yeah. And the thing that was creepy about him was he would usually kidnap girls in pairs. And then when he'd get them out in the woods, he would try to have them almost campaign to who he should kill.
He would ask which one he should kill first, and he would see if they would turn on each other.
I mean, that'd be like someone kidnaps me and you, Beckett. We're out in the woods. All right, Mr. Beckett, I'm the killer now. Who do you want me to kill first? Or why should I kill him and not you? You have to now sell yourself.
Kill
And then
me
he-
first.
Then he ended up killing everybody. He
I
was,
would kill
Yeah,
me
he killed
first.
them all.
I
he
would
was
kill
awful.
him.
He was really awful.
Yeah. And he also would torture them
Yep.
like unspeakably before he actually committed the crimes. And I agree with you. The first part of it doesn't feel that bad, but once you start walking through there's 2 particular sections of those woods that I do not like
Yeah.
at all. And we were going through it, and I finally got to a spot, and I'm like, oh no, this is the real Devil's Tree.
Now, would you say the reason why there would be some type of spirit activities because those girls died in such a terrible way, and they're just struggling to go to the other side?
Right. Well, I actually came across one that I think was one of his victims at the time. Since you've been there, if you go through the main entrance, you pass the fake tree.
Yeah.
And as you keep going, you're going to come to a clearing, and there's a lot of trees, and they have little benches. I came across a young lady with straight brown hair wearing like a yellow halter top and a pair of shorts, and it definitely looked like from the 70s.
Now, and again, I'm not trying to interrupt you. I just want to make sure I get all these details. When something like that happens, because people email me and say, "Will Vicki explain when she sees something? What exactly are you seeing? An absolute
No, it's not.
apparition, or
No.
is it okay?"
No, it's in my mind's eye. And I see, like in that particular case, as I came across there, all of a sudden this girl, she was kind of hiding behind a tree. Again, it's like it's in my mind's eye, but I'm using the scenes that are around me. That's where she was coming from. And she came across and she said, "You need to run. You need to run. You need to get away from him." And so that's what led me to believe that was one of the victims.
You being the skeptic, Mr. Beckett, what are your thoughts when you hear something like this?
Freaky stuff, you know, like it's me being skeptical, yeah, but like I always, like I think I said before, I always err on the side of caution, kind of like superstition. Like I'm not superstitious per se. Maybe I am, because if someone says like leaving the hat on the bed, it was kind of a baseball thing before a game, it's bad luck. I would never leave the hat on the bed just in case. So even though I'm a skeptic,
you're superstitious though.
Yeah.
I know people like that. I know people that are such skeptics, but they are.
But even if I'm a skeptic above the tree, for example, I wouldn't poke the bear. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dennys, you hear a story like that, Vic. You don't think she's a liar, clearly. Do you think there's something to these spirits?
Yeah. Well, the devil tree is weird because I think the original victims, the significance of the tree was where he hung 2 victims, and then
It's really a brutal story.
It's terrible, and there was, like she said, mutilation, terrible stuff, and then revisiting, I believe, necrophilia. So this
What's
guy was
necrophilia?
That is when you have sex with a corpse.
Oh.
Yeah, don't ask questions you don't want to know.
but even days later. But the craziness, I wonder if that made that spot haunted. Because I mean, he killed other people. I'm sure didn't bury them all in the same spot. I think they had him clocked at like 33 people.
But and the other thing too is there's some misconceptions with that. They don't have proof of all 33 people.
Absolutely, it's all
These
just
are alleged.
allegations. Yeah. But you wonder, because in the 90s there was a rekindling with that spot for some reason. Occultists were taking interest in it and trying to do ceremonies, I guess, near a place of tragedy.
But that's just what people do when they're trying to, summon. They find a tragic area. That's why people want to go to where Anna Nicole Smith was killed. Some people love that morbid, just weird death stuff.
Well, you wonder if that would bring forth the apparitions. You think if the occultists are out there doing stuff, maybe it didn't have those feelings and stuff until they brought them back or evoked them, especially victims
who were lost. It's a great point. What if, let me throw this at you, Vicky. Is it possible that you could have been getting a message from somebody that's not that girl, that's trying to trick you, that's trying to mess with your head?
The only thing is I don't see negative spirits. So if
How do you
I
know
get
that,
one,
though?
because I've never come across anything that I can prove was, like I can walk into a house, like say that someone claims that they were possessed and they've had demonic activity. I can walk in and go right to sleep and I feel absolutely nothing whatsoever.
It's almost like you're like Tangina from Poltergeist. You know what I'm talking about? Where if they are, have you seen Poltergeist, Ryan?
A long time ago.
Oh, it's such a good. The original Poltergeist is awesome.
Yeah. Disturbing.
Tangina is the like the death psychic, and they bring her in to regulate shit. And the ghost, if the ghost knows you're talented in that field, maybe they don't want to show themselves.
Well, I've actually been told that I only work with the light spirits, and I don't see the dark, and they don't see me either. That I'm kind of immune to them because of my protection, and they don't see me either. And someone told me make sure I keep it that way, of course. But I can tell you, the one that I believe that messed with you when we came across
the little girl.
No, the one in Devil's Tree at the Devil's Tree.
Yeah, okay.
I came across a really nasty male spirit, and I was just walking along, minding my own business, and all of a sudden I came across him. Now he is bound, I believe, to a certain perimeter of that area, because once he followed us as we left, but he only followed us to a certain point, and he wasn't allowed to cross that line. So when you're talking about possibly evoking him or a spirit, that may be it. And because he was evoked and brought there, he's only allowed to stay in the perimeter of that park.
There. Huh, you wonder after his death possibly that then his spirit roamed back and is like permanently locked.
But I like your theory though, Denny, saying that people are now going there and now they're trying to conjure up some shit that's going on. Maybe that's what brings a lot of that stuff.
Yeah,
out.
making a place haunted.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to do a ghost tour there, and if Bitch Boy Beckett doesn't want to go.
Damn that hate mail.
I didn't do any hate mail this week.
That guy must have known I was from Boca.
I didn't get too much hate mail this week. In fact, I got a lot of positive. Our numbers for this podcast are actually really, really good. Nice. They're getting higher every week. And that's a collective effort for everybody. The people listening and you guys with your stories. So thank you to everyone that's contributing. I love doing this. This is my realm. This is my world right here.
Tell your friends.
You think we have some ghost followers?
Whoa! A little ghost joke there.
I wish I was haunted because there's so many times when you're like by yourself, something cool happens and you don't get to share it. If you had a permanent ghost guest, I think it'd be great.
I love all ghost stuff. I mean, I don't want the shit that we're talking about where leave or you're gonna die. I don't want that in my life. But when I had the little girl that was attached to me, and you said she's there because she just likes my energy, and she's just kind of stuck there. I like that stuff. Does not freak me out. Now, if you say it's a little girl and she's holding an axe and she's growling, it's different. But she seemed like she's a place of love.
Yeah, and not to be cheesy, the podcast has been good for me because I've always not thought of myself as spiritual, but I've always wanted to be more spiritual. Whether that was meditation or religion or whatever, I've always wanted to tap because I tend to go more black and white in my life and more like whatever side of that brain is left brain. So this has kind of helped me open my mind.
A little therapeutic, if you will.
A little
too.
therapeutic, yeah.
No, I love that, and I really do. It's so weird. I get so many emails about religion, and I get emails about spiritualism. And a lot of it's very intersected. I mean,
totally.
it's almost just like we're hiding behind terms and vocabulary words here.
Yeah, we're putting an English word on it, and we're just kind of...
Well, again, we're putting that human spin on it. It's got to be the way I think.
Yeah.
And this is how I think. And this is how he thinks. And it's very human. But I'm fascinated that it all does sort of come from the same place.
There's a common theme to them all.
There's a common theme. I'm not saying that it's identical, but there's a common core for sure.
Well, not everyone has the upbringing like Dennys said he had, which I think is really amazing, where his parents allowed him to investigate and kind of like, let the line out of the boat enough to let him discover whatever path he wants. Like a lot of people are like, you're Christian, you're Jewish, you're, Muslim, whatever. And that's just what their great-great-grandfather was. And that's just what they know.
Well, I think it's just a natural fit. If we're talking about ghosts, afterlife, spirits, staying behind, how do you not tie in religion? I mean, we're all, I don't know about you, I think about death every single day.
Really?
Constantly. And it's weird, too. I think about death when I'm in the shower. That's when I really get heavy with my thoughts. Vicky, do you have any insight on that?
Maybe that's you don't have
Go see a
many other
therapist.
things going on.
Go see a shrink.
You're like, it's only when I'm making sandwiches.
It's only when I'm seeing my naked body.
Well, it could be that you relate it to Norman Bates. Maybe you think of death subconsciously from that movie.
I think, too, when you're in the shower, you're forced to do,
and you're vulnerable.
You're just there to think. And I like to shampoo my hair and think.
Oh, for
of
sure.
Shit. It's very hard to go in there and not think about stuff. It's almost like I bring that in there with me because I know that I can't hide from it.
Yeah, maybe it's TMI. I meditate and try to meditate in the shower.
I don't think. First of all, there's no TMI on this podcast.
Yeah.
We get real up in this piece.
Just because of the sound of the water, the quietness, there's no TV and radio.
The activities are monotonous, so they're easy to do while thinking.
You crisscross applesauce, and
Is that so? I was gonna ask. You sit down in the shower, or do you have
What's
like a bench?
crisscross applesauce?
Just like I'm doing, I always sit like this. I've always got my crisscross applesauce, legs like this together, and they say you should meditate that way.
Yeah. No, I sit on the floor. I put the shower against the head against the wall, and I turn it crank it as hot as it can go, and really steam it up. And sometimes I put some meditation music on.
Did you say meditation or masturbation? Because I might do a little both.
That sounds a lot like what I do, except for I'm not finding inner peace.
Dennys meditates a lot.
He's so relaxed when he comes out of that bathroom.
So this is kind of going with what we're talking about. You have the audio ready to go over there to play, Dennys?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so someone sent this email, Vicky, and I'd like you to maybe talk about this. Okay. It says, hey, weird and whatever. Have you guys ever heard of a psychic solving a crime? I heard that many psychics claim to have done it, but in reality, it was just them looking for attention. What do you guys think?
Well, I can tell you a personal story.
That's what we want.
With that.
Yes.
I think it was about a year or two ago. I can't remember. But there was a woman who disappeared, and it was in the Stewart area, I believe.
Okay.
And it turns out her ex had taken it, and I think he had killed her and used acid and things like that. Okay. So before I knew anything about it, my friend Bobby Joe.
She always gets her shout out.
Yeah. She called me and she sent me a picture of the woman, and she said, what can you tell me? I said, she's gone. I hate to tell you, but I think she's gone. And then a couple days later, she says, she's definitely missing. Where is she? And I saw a scene of there was a canal, there was this road, and in the background I saw this wood observatory, like a tower you'd go to look in. And I don't know how long it was after that, like maybe 2 weeks, where they actually found the body. And I just happened to be passing the TV with the news on, and that exact same scene was on the TV.
Oh, snap. So it's like a premonition
spot.
That you would see that image.
That was the spot where they found her.
The reason why I bring this up is because after I read this email, I was thinking of a clip. Now, this is why I think people, and I get a ton of emails, by the way. You're doing some free readings and some free stuff with people who have said nothing but great things.
Oh.
I think the reason why people are believing you and trusting you is because you say, I'm not perfect. I don't always get it right.
Right.
I want to play you guys a clip. Now, it's a psychic that claims to have these abilities of helping people find missing people or murdered people, and she knows the story. They've got this woman that's sitting down with her that says, okay, here's a picture of my loved one. Here it is. Do you know what happened to her? The woman looks at the picture. Oh yeah, she died. She's no longer with us. Blah, blah, blah. Now, this is a woman who sells her services to families that are in desperate and dire needs of finding answers, of missing people, and people that are gone forever. You know, they want answers. They show this picture to the woman. She's like, oh my gosh, she's dead. The little girl's no longer with us. What it was the woman that was interviewing her. It was a picture of her as a little girl. So there's no death. There's no, none of that stuff going on. This is her explaining. This is clip one, and you guys will understand what's going on.
The next day, McQuarrie sat down for an interview with me to talk about the work of psychic detectives. She soon began talking about a recent case, but clearly her psychic abilities didn't tell her that I was the girl in the picture.
One of the first things I do in a case, Lisa, is I always make sure people know that if I feel the person is living or not.
So you'll always know,
Yes.
when you talk to a family member, when you start a case, you'll know if this person is dead or
Yes.
alive.
And that's the point, is that
Every time.
Yes.
But apparently her psychic abilities didn't see this coming.
Oh, look at that teaser.
So that's part one. I just love how the announcer girl, that's what she said about her psychic ability. So I played that clip because that is what you need to look out for or be very cautious of. She said, oh yeah, every single case, nobody on this planet bats 1,000. I don't care who you are. You can be the best of the best. You're not going to get 1,000. Here's part two of the clip. This is when she gets busted. This is my favorite part.
Lori, I'm going to show you something.
Okay. Yes.
Does this girl look familiar to you?
Yeah, she does. I worked this case.
Oh,
This
shit.
is a girl who you said was beaten and killed.
Okay.
This little girl is me, and you told somebody that she's dead.
Wait a minute. You didn't disappear?
I'm right here.
Oh my
Well,
God.
that's interesting, isn't it?
How do you explain being
I
completely
can't
wrong?
explain it. I can't explain it.
You're charging them hundreds of
Okay.
dollars.
You know what, dear?
Hundreds
Okay,
of
we're done.
dollars. You're taking advantage of desperate people with a bunch of hocus pocus, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I think we'll go. Thank you. It's been an interesting experience. You all have a lovely, lovely evening.
Okay, that's
Wow.
interesting. I really can't
I
explain
just felt
it.
awkward listening to it.
Oh, you gotta watch
It's
it.
better to watch because as soon as she goes, that little girl was me. Oh shit, I can't explain it. I can explain it. You're a shyster. You're a liar. You know, just say you can't solve the case.
Right.
I mean, it's so easy to say that. you
For
know?
sure.
And if they don't actually have physical evidence, like if it's a missing person and never find the body, nobody's there to verify whether she was correct or not.
Exactly. So that's my point of this little segment is to just show people, you know, psychics do their work. They'll go back and do their work and find out shit about you, and they'll say that they act like they know you. That's why I like what we're doing here, because you could get it wrong sometimes. I mean, am I correct on that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I just thought that was kind of eye-opening.
I have to tell a wrong story about somebody who wanted a reading. The first guy that I gave the reading for, he was so enthusiastic. He wanted me to read for his very skeptical friend.
Okay.
And so
A Beckett. Like a Ryan Beckett.
Yeah, no, it was like Beckett on crack. It was really bad.
That'd be an interesting human.
So-
I'd like to meet that guy.
He asked me about his career, and I said what I thought it was, and he's like, no, that's not what I'm thinking of. And then I heard that he had a roommate home, And then the roommate's like, can I get on the phone? Can I get on the phone? So I talked to the roommate, and the roommate asked me about his career. And I said, well, I see you as blah, blah, blah. And what it was is I had switched the two because they were in the same room.
Got ya.
And like the skeptic, I didn't get anything about him.
Well, here's the thing.
But the other friend I did.
If you're a skeptic and you go in there and it's
And you got the walls up.
Yeah, you got the walls up, and if it does not go your way, if you get a shitty reading and you're like, I don't know, a Bob,
Right.
then yeah, they're gonna continue to be a skeptic. I think people have to have that moment for them to be a believer. You would have to have that moment, Beckett. Am I right?
Yeah.
Have you been to a psychic?
Yes.
Okay, I think you've mentioned that
Yeah.
before.
I had a couple interesting readings actually.
We did a bit one time where we had people call in to the show, and I was doing the readings, and all I had to do, because people would call in, you'd get their first and last name just from the ID. I'd go onto their Facebook page, and the whole thing was, can Bird read your... And the whole point of the bit was that you can be scanned by a psychic. 2 out of the 3 people I nailed only because I saw their Facebook shit. So you just got to be, you got to be smart about who you're going to, is all I'm saying.
Right. And I've also mentioned, like, people who've called, I don't read for friends, and I don't read for anyone that I know too well. And one of the reasons is I don't want to have prior knowledge.
Yeah.
I don't want to be pulling and using my brain in order to pull information to try to give them something. I want to be completely blank on whoever I'm reading for.
What do you feel with the room today? You sensing anything? Anybody got a vibe that's a little, I don't know.
Good vibrations.
Good, bad?
Well, the weather's so bad here in South Florida. It just feels like doom and gloom lately, doesn't
It's
it?
pretty gross out, but it's been good because we were in a drought. So it's kind of nice that we're getting the rain, even though it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's kind of hard to train a
Interesting
German
note.
Shepherd puppy in this rain. Let me tell you something. I did nothing but clean cage yesterday.
Wait, did I ask you something?
So you're asking how you feel the room. What are the vibrations like today?
Oh, yeah.
It feels about the same as it always.
Okay, got you.
the same.
I thought I'd ask.
It's a good vibe, nothing weird.
So this is a little bit of a longer email, so I apologize. I'll probably stumble through it. Hey, weird and whatever. I was hoping you would delve more into empaths. You know what this is? People who take on the emotions of those around them. I am fairly certain that my best friend is an empath. I know some people tend to be a bit more sensitive emotionally than others, but my best friend takes it to a whole different level. She can walk into a room, and if everyone is all smiles and cheers, she'll become bouncy and carefree, even if you tell her her mom died. If just one person in another room is crying, she'll start bawling too. And if she sees people being a bit intimate with one another, she'll be slutty. All right, well, we got to book her. It's a bit frustrating as her best friend because I don't know if what she does at times is actually her or if she's just mimicking the emotions around her. Any thoughts? And that's from Dawid, D-A-W-I-D, Dawid. Maybe it's a typo. It's David. I don't know. But
Well, my first thought is I've noticed that a lot of people who are empathic, they are diagnosed either with clinical depression or anxiety disorder.
do you think the people that suffer with depression and anxiety, they're more in tune with people because they know the struggle of being in a shitty mood, so they may be more...
I think they could. I think that could put them in a position where they're even more empathic. I always tell people the first thing you have to do is stop for 2 seconds when you're feeling an emotion. Try to close your eyes and try to see if it's coming from inside you or outside of you.
Can you explain a little bit more on that?
Whether it's your... I was told this a long time ago myself. I need to just stop if I'm feeling something that seems odd to me. And I told someone, I actually spoke to someone the other night, and the first thing I got for her is that she was empathic. That was the first thing out of the gate. And I told her, I said, you need to stop. I said, close your eyes, and you're going to feel it like an energy. If it's coming from you, you're going to feel warm. But if it's somebody else's emotion, it's going to feel warm outside in the room. And then if you close your eyes, you can figure out which direction that warmth is coming from, and that's the person who's feeling it. It takes a while to be able to do that, but it's helpful because you don't think you're always going through this. It's somebody else.
Could you argue, too, though, some of that could possibly be from upbringing? If you've got a loving pair of parents that are always into, how are you feeling? What's going on with you? Because it's almost like a trait. It's almost like a people person trait when someone kind of reads the room. It's like... If you walk into a room, you're like, all right, I know I've got 3 people in here. They're all going to have different moods. I understand that. I recognize that. So if I'm talking to Vicki, I'm going to really try to just get her vibe. But if she's kind of somber, I'll be, hey, Vicki. I mean, is that a possibility too?
Well, I could see reading somebody in a room, but actually taking on their emotions,
The
way that
emotions.
person is in the email, that's taking it to the extreme.
Like if Beckett's all tore up inside and I walk in the room, now I got
Right.
Beckett pain.
Right, and you start crying. Yeah,
Can
that's
I get his
different.
hair too? Do I just have to get the pain?
It's interesting. One of my readings, they said I was an empath, but I think that I'm selectively an empath. Like I've had, I think some girls I've dated, they would say, maybe I brought this up before. They're like, oh, Ryan just brushes off feelings. But then I've had other relationships where the girl would be like, Ryan was the girl in the relationship, 100%.
And I think that's just a chemistry with somebody. I think I act a different way with a type of person than I would, say Dennys or someone like Dennys. If it's more of a stuffy situation, I not that I get serious, but I know that, all right, probably my goofy bullshit's probably not going to work on this person.
Well, to your point, my parents got divorced in second grade, and I had a good relationship with my father, and I saw him every other weekend. But more or less, I lived with my mom.
Was that tough for you?
It was hard at the time, but
Do you have the Oprah music ready to go?
as far as divorces go, it was fine. Like everyone got along great. Almost weird. Like everyone got drank and have a good time at my lacrosse games and baseball games and stuff like that. But if I ever am in a position where I'm the girl in a relationship, I was like, I was raised by my mom. That's why I'm like,
I always
this
say
emotional.
that. I was raised by women.
That's what you say too.
I'm oversensitive because I was raised by women,
Exactly.
which makes me sound like a sexist prick at that point. Because guys and girls both. I mean, I really do believe that you cannot put girls in one little category. Girls are always just so sensitive because I have met dudes, athletes can be some of the most sensitive
for sure.
people in the world.
I've dated girls that were like a dude, like totally.
Exactly. that are very sex driven and kind of, let's go do
Like,
this.
whatever, bro.
Yeah.
It's kind of a self-deprecating story, but I was into this girl, we were dating, and like we had hooked up one night, and the next day I was like, I kind of just like want to know, so I'm respectful. Like, what are my marching orders? Like, whatever. She's like, let's just play it by ear. I tell my friends, I'm like, that's what like a dude would say to
Well,
her.
it's the people, especially in pop culture, they try to make you think, well, women 25 to 40, they feel this way, and that's how all these women feel, and that's what they always do that in radio, and that's how you sell shit. And the Democrat, but it's bullshit.
Damn those radio people.
Damn those radio
the worst.
people. It's bullshit though. You could take 10 women that are 25 years old, and every single one of them are going to be different.
Oh, for sure.
Different things are funny, act different. It's not this whole, this is how women are and this is how guys are. It's just not.
Well, I think the demo is aimed at women that purchase things.
For
So there's
sure.
an even slicier demo there.
Oh yeah, no,
So-
believe me, I know. We always gotta hear. This is what your female listener wants to hear, Jay Bird. I'm like, you don't know.
We do get a lot of those.
We got a lot of those. I got a couple would you rather questions. I think it maybe kind of mix out, get a little goofy here. I'd like to hear everyone's answer. Let's start with you, Dennys.
All right.
Would you rather have sex with the ghost of a family member, or would you rather be possessed by a demon for 10 years? God, both of them suck. And it's the big kind of demonic possession where you walk down the street like, I want to eat your eye. Like, it's over the top.
I'd rather be possessed. Only reason being, even though it's 10 years, it's a long time. I mean, that's
don't
like
think you-
half a life sentence.
That's a lot. That's 10 years of being possessed by.
But I wouldn't be in control of what I'm doing, so I can't feel that bad for it. If I'd have sex with my parent's ghost.
I didn't say parent.
You said what?
Family.
Family member. Get your mind like you are sick, Dennys.
Well, I mean, the other
Maybe you're
choices
possessed
are
right now.
Well, he could be talking like second cousin twice removed.
Second
here.
cousin.
just a family member in general.
Well, a family member could be someone's step too. That could have been your loophole.
No loophole. No step. We're talking like like a.
so what generation cousin do you consider like?
I'm just saying it could be a third
Fifth
cousin.
generation
It could be a
cousin?
third cousin or a grandpa. Whatever, You just don't know. That's it. You don't know until the ghost.
Appears? It's a
Yeah.
random one. It could be anyone. It's like a dice roll.
It's like it could be your fifth cousin that you kind of had a little thing for when you were 10, or it could be, I don't know, grandpap.
I'd probably take the possession, man, for 10 years. Because I'm not in control. I'm just floating around possessing people or doing whatever.
Vicky, what are your thoughts?
I unfortunately I got to go with the relative because I've seen cases of people who are possessed and not doing that for 10 years.
We're gonna get back to that.
Okay.
Beckett, what's your answer?
are you married to the person? You have to have sex with this person one time?
No, you're not married. But it's something that happens to you. You get visited regularly for 10 years. Both of it 10-year sentences.
How regularly?
I would say every other night.
Oh my God.
So you added that
Which one you
after I
picked?
I
answered.
did. I added that. But that's what
clause.
happens. Yeah.
What's your answer?
What's your answer, Beckett?
I don't know, man.
They both suck.
I think I would go possessed. I would just hope that it's like a good possession.
No. It's a
like
demon.
stigmata.
No, you don't have that pretty hair anymore.
I'm not like possessed by Einstein every other night.
No, you're Einstein's friend that lived down the street that was a dick and it was creepy.
Touched himself. Looking through windows.
Either way, I'm creepy because I'm hooking up with a family member.
What's your answer? We need answers.
I think I'm going possessed.
I think I'm going possession too, Vicky. I think
Okay.
I'd just be so bummed.
it would suck I mean, I'm talking real on possession. Give us a story of when you've seen some shit go down.
I've seen some things. I've seen.
What was the worst?
The worst are the cases where people really don't realize that they're true. They've based movies on them. There have been cases where they believe that these children, and they were pretty young girls, they were possessed. And they tried exorcisms on them. They refused to eat. They refused to, they literally dwindled away to nothing. Their bones would break for no explanation. They could move. And these are documented cases. These
I
aren't
know
just
what you're
movie
talking about.
cases.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
And then they eventually died from it. I wouldn't want to spend 10 years with something else in control.
Yeah, we
like
kind
that.
of talked a little bit about the end of our last podcast was because someone wanted to know, can ghosts or spirits actually murder somebody?
Right.
And I liked your answer because that's what I believe too. I don't think they can full on take a knife to Beckett, but what I think they could do is put a skateboard and move it by the stairs where he trips and falls down the stairs.
Right. And the case like I was talking about where the girl stopped eating, it wasn't that the demon didn't kill her in a traditional way, like you said, with a knife. He made her not eat. She killed herself.
Yeah.
Because she didn't eat.
A little self-sabotage.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's all very, very fascinating. I agree with that theory. I really do. I think you can totally do that kind of stuff. What are your thoughts, Dennys, on that? The fact that the ghost, they're killing you, but not really killing you.
So I don't know if about like them grabbing a knife, all that fun stuff, and like even moving a skateboard's a little tricky for me. It would have to be like literally a malicious spirit in order to have like the anger force to move something like that.
Why is the skateboard thing just because you're like, there's no way a ghost is going to move a skateboard? Is that your theory?
Well, all right, so if you look at a day-to-day, and this could disprove what I'm thinking anyway, but like on a day-to-day, people die for all crazy reasons. You read a story, somebody falls, or it's like a fluke accident where like a horse falls out a window and kills somebody, like something random. And so you wonder about that every day, maybe ghosts, that's what they're doing, is just constantly trying to kill people.
When the horse falls, it's like, nay.
Nay, it did not.
It whips the nays.
But I'm saying, like, so I guess you could say that there is a lot of weird freak accidents that could have been caused by ghosts, but I feel like it would have to be an angry spirit. It would have to have some sort of, like, anger force in order to... I feel like good spirits would more rely on healing, not necessarily moving things around.
Yeah, well, I think the good spirits would do cool things. I think bad spirits are going to try to kill you with a skateboard. I think that's kind of what they do. But are they doing that because they're stuck in a place and the pain comes because they're stuck and they want to wreak havoc with people around them? Or is it because they died as an asshole and they've continued to be an asshole?
Well, you are, on the other side, you're exactly what you were here.
You are.
You're the same person. You have the same personality. So if you die and you get earthbound and you do, let's take, for instance, like say that you were here and you smoke pot all the time, right?
I don't know anyone like that.
So I know. And on the other
That's pretty
side,
far-fetched, but all right.
well, on the other side, guess what? If you live in a house with a living human that does that same thing, I believe that human spirits can temporarily go into people's bodies in order to experience that high again.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
How can we make that happen?
It's kind of trippy.
We're trying to get that viral video going. That'd be perfect. How would you even do something like that? How do you even attempt that?
I don't know how they would attempt it, but they managed
Lots
to.
of acid.
Oh my gosh. That's
So you're saying the entities, just to feel something comfortable from their past, they'll
that they're able to experience through the living people.
huh?
P.S. I just
And
bought
that doesn't make them demons,
I don't know if because this is legal in Florida. I bought CBD oil.
Nice.
At the vape store the other day. I'm like, you sell that? They're like, it's legal. There's no THC. in it."
CBD is legal all across the country.
So I was like, what could this be?
Oh, is it like diet pot where it's pot, but you don't get
vape.
high?
Let me just tell you. I don't know like what it was, but I was buzzed. Like, and I'm like, how is this legal?
Well, so it's just a mild reaction, but it's the healing properties of marijuana separated from the THC, which is the psychedelic properties of marijuana.
Right, I was just chilled out.
So
it'll definitely chill you out, and
Yeah.
it's actually, I mean, they're showing that it's helping people with a lot of things that they're having issues
They
with.
have
Like,
CBD cocktails now, like little vape.
Look, I knew somebody who was really struggling with cancer, and they said that stuff just helped them out so greatly, just with the pain.
big with seizures
and
as well.
Not eating, being nauseous. If you go through chemo, man, that's tough, man.
Yeah.
you can't eat.
You
Yeah.
can't eat. You're nauseous all the time,
So in those cases, they would prescribe you THC in order to give you the munchies.
and you would get high with that, correct?
For sure.
Okay.
THC will get you high. Yeah, CBD will not, which is why it's legal.
So I'm sorry if I missed this. I apologize. So if you're just getting the CBD, what does that do for you? That makes you
Those are more of the healing.
Healing.
property. Yeah, exactly. You can buy oils. You can buy tinctures, which you put in your drinks.
Yeah.
They have all sorts of ways of getting it now. And yeah, it's
We talked about that a little bit last podcast about, minerals and oils and stuff of the earth that, people use for healing. I completely understand why people would do that if their back's against the wall and that's their only hope.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, everything should be more or less derived from the earth. Even like the prescription pills, all they're really doing is releasing or like restraining chemicals passing in your brain that you secrete naturally. So, I mean, there's plants, like if you chew like a coca leaf from the cocaine, that'll stimulate you. It gets you moving. It's just releasing more dopamine into your brain. So, I mean, you have
Someone
the...
knows a lot about drugs.
Well, I'm just saying.
He's a pharmacist.
I had a friend that was a pharmacist.
Pharmacist,
And pharmacist in
right.
quotations.
Do you guys want one more Would You Rather? Or are you guys over that?
Yeah, throw one more at us. Let's see what this is.
This is more serious. It's not talking about
I
having
really
sex
doubt
with a
that.
ghost family member.
Dude, ghost sex sounds awesome.
I hear it's not. I hear ghost sex is not awesome. It's horrifying, and you think you're gonna die.
Well, last time you brought up the succubus and incubus, and yeah, you said the paralysis. Have you ever, sleep paralysis? That's what you were saying. A lot of people say that it's from. That's such a weird concept that when you're in REM, right, you secrete something into your muscles that paralyzes you. That way, when you're dreaming, you don't move around too much.
Yeah, you don't hurt yourself.
That's so messed up.
But you can wake up
Yeah.
before the paralysis wears off, and that's when you lay there and you're like, man, I want to get out of bed, and you're thinking a million things, but you can't move. It's the weirdest thing, and that's what they attribute to whenever somebody has an issue with those.
So yeah, I mean, the
Right.
non-believers are gonna say you're mid-sleep. Yeah, that's what you're seeing. There's no
Right.
succubus sucking anything. It's just what
It's
you're.
like a vivid, wet dream almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Would you rather have the power of healing or the power to talk to the dead?
Ooh, all
And
right.
I'm talking not with what Vicky does, but I'm talking Sixth Sense kind of shit where if this
Like, it could be any dead.
If this alien baby, and by the way, we are on video. If you want to help people know something to find the podcast a lot easier, just go to our YouTube page, the KVJ Show, and type in weird or whatever. What I think we're going to start doing is putting episode 1, episode 2, so they're very easy to find as a playlist.
Got it.
Cool. They should be labeled episodically, but I'll put them in a
A
playlist.
playlist would be great. Thank you, Dennys.
I would go with healing. I think it's a no-brainer.
Healing, there's positives. I thought about this. There's positives on both. You could find out a lot of shit and help out a lot of people if you were able to talk to the dead full on. Yeah, that guy right there murdered me. Follow him around and you'll get the clues. That's a powerful thing. But yeah, someone's sick, touch their whatever, and they're healed
You'd
again.
be a legend.
You would be a legend.
I mean, you go to every party if you could heal people.
You'd be legendary, brah.
Is that pretty much everybody saying healing?
I haven't put it on Facebook or anything. I'm just asking the room.
I'd rather full on talk to the dead in a more coherent way than
Yeah,
I do now.
like how we're talking right now.
Because there's more things I could do to help people in that respect. I could find missing people. I could find murderers. I could do a lot of things. And healing, I don't know. That's kind of taking somebody else's job. I'm not sure that I'd want to do that.
Whose job are you taking?
Well, whoever, whatever a person believes in.
Then you're playing with.
But
people.
couldn't you argue that whatever entity that is gave you the ability to heal, and that's why you have it, because it's not something that's
you
forbidden. Because whatever
is it predetermined?
Well, when you say that's someone else's job, could you argue that someone else you're talking about, whatever it is saying, I'm giving you the ability to do that, and you're just an instrument.
He's like, bro, I got so much to do. You can take this one.
Yeah,
that's kind of like the argument that Christian Scientists say, like, oh, this doctor can't heal me because that's his job.
That's messing.
Yeah, I'm
with
not going
the
to
natural balance.
I have a compound fracture with a bone sticking out of my skin. Like,
And-
I'm not going to the hospital.
And that's a philosophy or a theory, but that I may not necessarily believe, because my argument would be, well, look, whatever you believe in is giving you that ability to be psychic,
Right.
To have whatever power that you got. Just something, just a little theory of mine. So you're taking healing.
No, I'm
No.
going to take
Taking
talking
the
to the dead.
Sorry,
Yeah, I'm
one
taking
of my
the dead.
powers is I don't listen. Dennis, you answered too, right?
Oh, actually, she swayed me over to Talking Dead.
Really?
Yeah, I think I'm a Talking Dead, man.
I think everyone's going to like me way
Dude,
more.
healing's way too much pressure.
Well,
Every single person is going to come to you.
Beckett's doing it because he wants to get laid. We're trying to do it because we're trying to find.
Nothing spreads the legs more than healing motherfuckers.
Oh, they can't. Denny, it's the
Sorry,
F-bomb.
I'm sorry.
The F-bomb.
And that's the only way I can heal you.
Healing with feeling with Ryan Beckett.
That's too much pressure, man. I take Talking to the Dead.
I hear you. Let's
I'd solve crimes.
let's delve into the alien UFO world, if you shall. Do you have that governor clip?
I do.
Okay, so remember when I told you guys about the one documentary I love, I Know What I Saw? Part of that documentary talks about the big UFO sighting in Phoenix. Now, I highly recommend everyone listening and everyone in this room look up and get well-versed on the Phoenix UFO thing that happened. I believe it was 1997, late 90s kind of a thing. This is where all of these space pods, all of this shit was going down, and nobody could give a real answer. The Army couldn't give a real answer. Military, nobody could. The government couldn't. The governor at the time was a big-time believer. He's like, I don't know what I saw that night. It was something no one has the answers to. Well, time went on a little bit. I'm going to play you guys the press conference. People got so mad at the governor after he did this press conference, because keep in mind, thousands of people saw this stuff. People had no answers. They even heard him talk about how, oh yeah, I don't know what it was. Then he does this press conference, and it pissed a lot of people off.
I'm Fife Symington. In 1997, during my second term as governor of Arizona, I saw something that defied logic and challenged my reality.
Hit pause. I think we got a bit of I don't think that's the right clip. I think this is him at a convention, an alien UFO convention, when he's talking about after the fact. To make a long story short, because I know it's a little bit long-winded, he got so much hate from people. He actually took it back and said, I was just trying to make light of the situation. Because at the press conference, he goes, oh, we found the alien, guys. They march in, a guy dressed up as an alien. The reporters are laughing. And people were legitimately pissed because they said, dude, we saw what was up there. You saw it too. Don't do what every person in government does and says, oh, it was a weather balloon or it's all in your head. Shit really went down. I'm sorry, that's the wrong clip. I apologize to everybody.
Ooh, sorry.
Yeah, Denny's kind of messed up.
So many videos on the internet.
I hear you. But yeah, please look into the Phoenix Lights, all that. It's very fascinating because people still to this day don't know what it is. And if a skeptic says, oh, it was military or whatever, they don't. They really don't know.
Yeah.
That's to me, for modern day, that is the most believable, credible UFO thing that's ever happened on this planet.
Yeah.
It's unexplainable.
A lot of that stuff, that amazing stuff, gets buried in the news.
Oh, yeah.
For
It gets
sure. You think that's an
buried.
accident?
It gets buried. I saw a thing just this morning before I came into the podcast that, you remember the Hubble telescope from back in the day?
Yeah.
So they just said that Einstein's quote-unquote impossible experiment is finally performed. The Hubble telescope just weighed a star, using a technique the famed physicist described, but said humanity would have quote-unquote no hope of using. He basically said it was bending light, and I'm going to read the article more, but basically like almost disproved something that Einstein had said was theory. It's crazy. And no one, we're talking about what kind of tweet people in government say rather than talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
stuff like that.
just like we were talking about with Vicky, I don't care if you're Einstein or if you're Joe Schmo, nobody bats 1,000. I mean,
True.
Einstein didn't. Every theory Einstein did wasn't right. It
And
couldn't have
their
been.
theories.
Yeah, they're theories, and you have to kind of make mistakes to get the theories sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm sure that he did.
Yeah.
I'm not taking away his brilliance because he was a brilliant man, but he's human.
Yeah.
Nobody on this planet can be that good.
And a doctor of mine, he was a friend of mine. He told me something really interesting that I always repeat. He goes, Ryan, doctors aren't perfect. He goes, that's why it's called practicing medicine. He goes, there's things that Harvard doctors recommend now for certain ailments that is a 180 from what they recommended in the 90s.
I've gone to 3 doctors that I'm thinking of that got it completely wrong on my diagnosis. My hand being one of them. My hand went through a window as a kid. They thought I just needed stitches. They numb my hand, but they don't do it completely, so I can still feel them giving me stitches. I'm like, this fucking hurts. And the nurse comes over halfway through the stitches and goes, you have to take the stitches out. We were wrong. He actually needs an operation. He has to get in there right now to get his tendon sewn back together.
Oh, my God.
They get it wrong all the time.
Oh, you never know what they're coming back from. They could be coming back from a birthday party, coming into work hungover, and now they have to like repair your arm.
Oh, if I was a doctor, I had to actually operate
Oh.
on people. I'd be the worst. I'd be operating on the wrong arm. I'd bring everything with me into the surgery room. There's no way I could separate it.
Oh, jeez.
If I got into a fight with my girlfriend, son of a bitch, I'm working on the wrong arm. Go ahead, take it, because I dropped my notes.
Yeah, that's a lot of responsibility to be a doctor.
We're at 51 minutes. Are we doing homework or no homework?
Yes, let's get into our homework. Let's start with you, Vicky. What do you have for us?
Well, you had mentioned about a field trip, so I did come up with a whole list of places. So I kind of wanted to know, did you want me, are we going to, I know your location you mentioned earlier.
The Deviltree. Here's the thing about the Deviltree.
Illegal to go in there at night.
It's illegal.
So.
It's illegal, and they don't because it's a park and it closes at a certain time.
Right.
And I was hiding out, trying to get away. I don't know how long that the police were looking for me there, but I just know that I heard them looking, and I tried to stay out of sight, out of mind but yeah, it's very tricky to kind of do that one. We could do it in the daytime.
During
Not
daytime,
as scary.
Maybe this would be a good way to get some audience interaction and maybe that Facebook page we were talking about, and like maybe actually have the audience give some input as to give like a multiple choice.
So what we're going to do with that, I'm glad you brought that up with the Facebook stuff. We're going to take my Jason Pennington fan page. I've got 2, and I hate saying fan page. It sounds so pompous, but that's
You're
what
so
it's
cool,
called.
Jason.
And you have 2 of them?
We get it, man. One wasn't cutting it.
I hate even saying that.
I ran out of room for friends and fam.
No. I've got the personal one,
Okay.
and then there is a fan one. So the one you want to go to is the one that is like a fan one. I'm going to change it. It's going to say Jason Pennington, but the background's going to say weird and whatever. And I want to filter everything through there. I don't want to start it from scratch.
Cool.
Because I already got a bunch of people in that one,
Yeah.
and people are actually already sending me stuff on that one.
Cool.
So
Is that the one that I tag you in all the time?
you are actually on my personal one.
Oh, okay.
But you're a friend. I mean, come on.
Now
Actually,
I feel special.
Yeah, no, I don't like saying fan page.
What are the other options other than the tree? The tree's kind of freaking me out a little bit.
Well, that's how we should go.
Pitch Boy Beckett.
We should go during the day and see if we can find the cold spots and hear the voices.
Yeah, you know what? That actually
Doesn't have
might
to
be
be at
good.
night.
Why don't we do this? Because I hate doing Facebook Live because everyone gets so pissy on there. You're not doing anything funny yet. Come on. It's like 7 minutes in. So maybe we'll take a camera out there. We'll produce the video. And because I would like to do it on Facebook Live, but I know how this shit goes. You're going to go out there. There's going to be a lot of non-shit going on for a minute. And people, I don't see a ghost yet. You guys suck.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to go. But we'll bring a camera out there.
As long as it's on your Facebook page.
Dude, I get so much hate constantly. It's all good. Yeah, so the weird and whatever, I'll make sure that there's a picture on the Facebook. I would love for people to start going there. And Vicky, you're more than what you seem to be really good with the social media stuff and on it. If you want, you can be one of the admins on there and keep up with that because you're organized and you seem like you'd be good at that.
What's the handle on your Facebook?
Yeah. I think it's Jason Pennington.
It is. Imagine that. I have 2 Jason Penningtons. The internet. I mean, son of a bitch, Dennys. The internet.
We'll post it on the YouTube, right?
We'll post it. I'll make sure that everyone knows. I'll put a link to it on our actual KVJ But
Perfect.
this is stuff we could talk about off the air.
How does Kevin and Virginia feel about the paranormal and stuff? Do they give any input from what they're saying?
So Virginia, as Virginia's gotten older, she has, without a doubt, become a little bit more open to all this stuff. When I first got on the show, and a lot of it could be her just trying to be funny on the air and just kind of ribbing me. But as she's gotten older, she's real in touch with the moon.
Very much into the moon right now.
She feels like everyone's moods are connected to the moon.
Dictated by the moon, yes.
Yeah. She had a ghost go on at. Is this messed up, Denny? Okay.
No,
she had a ghost. What she felt was a ghost at her place. She had that smudged and.
Yeah.
I can't think of the word right now. Not smudged, but what's the term, Vicky? When you come in there
cleansing.
Cleansing, thank you. She did that. So she is, I think, a believer on that stuff, where she didn't used to be. And then Kevin, I think Kevin does believe in demonic stuff. He comes from a very religious background.
Really?
Oh, yeah. His mom and dad were very religious.
He's from Ohio, right?
He's from Ohio. And I do think he doesn't mess with that stuff. I joked about bringing a Ouija board in one time, and no, you're not doing that. And then we also had a.
Then he was in the corner.
We had a psychic. It was part from the Lake Worth Playhouse where the dog shit was blood. We recorded the death psychic, and she, I guess, manifested into whatever ghost was there, and she talked just like this. And he would not allow me to play the audio on the air. I go, Kev, why can't? He goes, you're gonna scare the shit out of everybody. Kids are listening. He goes, I'm an adult and I'm scared.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so I think they believe, and Kevin definitely believes in aliens, although he'll give me a hard time on the air about it. But yeah, he believes that there's something else out there, for sure. Good
You
question.
can tell Virginia that right now the moon is in Scorpio and the full moon's in a couple days. So if things seem a little off right now, that's why.
Things seem off with me. I'm not going to bore you with my personal problems, but what the shit? It's the moon?
Yeah, it's in Scorpio right now, and I guess that causes a lot of upheaval.
I'm a Scorpio.
Ooh, look out. All right. Yeah, Danny, give us a little dance.
I'm cool. It's been a long day.
Did we even get to everyone's homework? I think I just went on a tangent. Who did I asked? What, you, Vicky, with your homework?
Mine was locations.
That's right. That's how we got
Location.
Yeah, no, I think if we can get Ryan comfortable, I think we should go at Deviltree. It's going to be a 3 or 4 hour jaunt.
Okay.
Adventure, at least.
It's actually, funny enough, it's up by the C-24 canal. Growing up in Stewart, I lived on the C-23. It was only it was a little bit further out east, but
Have you been there?
I have not.
It's a cute little park. It's really weird. It doesn't even look like a park because it's almost connected to a lot or like a street in a residential area. It's very bizarre.
Yeah, it's people. That one section is people's backyards.
Yeah.
As you're walking through it. Yeah.
It's very odd. Okay, I know you struggled with your homework this week, Mr. Beckett.
Yeah, I brought in I thought we were gonna talk more sexual stuff, so I brought some.
Yeah, he comes in. This is he sends me a text message like, "Can we talk about weird?" whatever sex stuff. I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm thinking it's going to tie in with it. He comes in here. Yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about cuckolding. I'm like, wait, what?
That's weird. Whatever.
No.
No, I guess you're right. It's in the weird category.
I mean, we could, it doesn't always.
I thought we were going to have maybe a theme today.
We can, the whatever can always be whatever we want it to be. There's no rules with this podcast.
For sure.
I know that the people listening seem to really like the paranormal, alien, and I think they also like talking about deep shit. Because a lot of stuff that we're talking about is matters of the heart. It's talking about death and loved ones going away and your moods and how you handle your moods. And you talk about moon. My mood is really weird right now. And I'm wondering, is there a correlation to the moon or am I just a freaking psycho?
Do we have to answer
Well,
that?
I think it's a gravitational pull, right?
And I didn't like the silence after I said psycho either.
The gravitational pull could definitely affect it, for sure.
It probably makes you feel different if you're being pulled slightly less, whether it's like a fragment of a number.
Right, 100%.
You guys ever get in moods where you're a little bit more introspective and you don't know why? You more go down memory lane. Yeah. You are more nostalgic than normal. And then all of a sudden you're back to your daily grind. Why do you think that is? You think that... No, I'm definitely not Adderall. But seriously, why do we get in this kind of moods?
You're saying...
Well, for example, I'll be in a goofy mood, and then all of a sudden, I want to think about old stuff. Yeah. I'm a little bit more emotional about stuff. I feel like I'm more aligned with being peaceful.
Yeah.
Why does that happen? Is that because I'm not getting enough sleep? It goes back to all of that shit.
Yeah, it's one of those answers where I think it's a lot of small things and collective. I usually am triggered by something, whether it's like a end of a relationship, something in your career, lack of sleep for sure. I mean, like,
Sure.
makes you more emotional and
Because
edgy.
Someone emailed, and I don't know if it was an email for the Weird and Whatever podcast or if it was for our other podcast that we do, but it said, you guys talk about depression a lot. People that have depression almost like need to get over it. And I guarantee you, and that's that person's words, I guarantee you the person that wrote that suffers from some bout of depression.
Right.
Everybody in this room is going to get depressed. Everyone listening is going to have depression some point. I think that's part of the human DNA.
It's part of the human DNA, and it's like when you are healthy, you almost take being healthy for granted until
Big
you get
time.
sick.
Oh,
You're
and
like,
then you're
oh
like,
my
never
gosh, I would
again.
give anything. And like I'm like Dennys. I'm pretty even keeled, but I've had some bad breakups or losses or something like that, and I'm in a dark place for even though it's a couple days and I bounce back. Like I'm like, this sucks.
I guess my
Oh,
question is, a lot of what me and you were talking about is almost situational. Something
Yeah.
made you react that way.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
what I'm asking is, can you get in those weird moods or where you're more emotional just from something like the moon?
Some people believe that. I mean, I personally am not a big believer in the moon affecting
Why
our
is that?
moods. I've never noticed it in myself, and that's surprising from a school teacher because usually you're like, uh-oh, yeah, there's a full moon. I understand why my class is acting that way. I've never experienced that, so it's just not part of my reality.
And you're not saying
And
that,
I'm not saying it doesn't
Yeah,
exist. I'm saying for me personally, it doesn't affect me.
Well, I think that's what, when people try to understand where you're coming from and they've not experienced what you've experienced,
Right.
they're not gonna get there mentally. They may kiss your ass and go, "Oh, that's nice, Vicky," but if they haven't walked down that journey, how are they ever gonna know?
Right.
It's like the therapist we talk about. I don't want a psychiatrist helping me that's never gone through some bullshit of their own. If they've had this happy life and everything's been
that's-
great, screw you.
Yeah, well, they say some of the best counselors for example, for addicts are former addicts.
Yes.
right?
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's not a bridge too far. You know, like there's more of like a relation, or like someone that's going to do like sports psychology that used to be a baseball player that's helping the guy with his swing and his mental block. Like he's always going to be the better person to help that person out.
I've ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted something mystical other than what we've got here.
Yeah.
But then as I started getting older, I realized, and this is going to sound trippy and like I just hit the bong, but what we are doing right now on this earth, and it's so weird. This here really is a miracle. I know it sounds so cliche,
No, it is.
but if this is possible, you have sex and all of a sudden a baby grows in your stomach from sperm, and now people are walking around and you've got these detailed animals. If all of that crazy shit is possible, why is it so out of the realm for other crazy shit to be possible? This is pretty crazy, man.
Oh,
totally agree.
This is a weird ride.
I always
Totally
say it's like anytime you watch these sci-fi films, they're like, "Man, look at those things; they look crazy." I'm like, "Dude, look around Earth. Earth is a sci-fi film, man."
You're completely right.
There's,
because
like,
we hide
bats.
behind definitions. Oh, that's just a zebra. That's just a gravitational pull. Well, yeah, but why? Why is it there?
To some other planet, we are aliens. In
Yes,
a way,
for
like,
sure.
we are aliens. They may have someone that looks like us sitting on their desk somewhere.
You're right.
It's all very fascinating stuff. I think it's a good stopping point because we've gone actually over an hour
Oh,
today.
look at that.
But great job, everybody. Go ahead, plug your Twitter, Ryan.
Twitter's Ryan S. Beckett.
Vicky, what do you want to plug?
If you want to email me, I'm still doing readings, and I appreciate meeting everyone. It's contact@pointparanormal.com.
Dennys, give it to me.
At producer Dennys on the Twitter.
I am at Jason Bigfoot on Twitter. I'm going to really work hard with Vicky and everybody here to make sure the Weird and Whatever Facebook page / Jason Pennington fan page. I'm sorry, Ryan.
I love it.
It's so douchey. I'm a fan page. But yeah, we're going to make that our central area. So we're going to do what we talked about.
Okay.
But we'll do that coming up. Probably do it today or tomorrow. So
Awesome.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. We love you all. And
Bigfoot is real. Real quick, I think somebody requested to hear the cryptozoology song.
it's like a 2-minute song, dude. I don't know. You want to...
No, never mind.
Well, I'm not trying to...
We'll put it on Jason's third fan page. No, there's room for it. We're good.
It's a 2-minute song about, it's actually when we thought it was called cryptozoology. It's cryptozoology. So the whole song is actually
All
very...
right, never mind. Here.
No,
No, we'll play this one.
Okay, we'll play it next week.
All right, next week. Stay tuned.
We love you all. Bigfoot is real.
I got it.